probably beating England away. We've beaten England so many times.
So Pierre, first thoughts when you laced up the new Stampedes?
Really comfortable. When you slip them on, it's like a glove. You know, when we grew up playing rugby, sometimes you have to wear the boots like a day training or a week or a month just to get used to it with the blisters and the awkwardness. With the new Stampedes, it actually fits like a glove. I don't know if it's probably the modern day technology or whatever, but it's like even on game day, I can just slip them on, play a new test with them. They're super sturdy, and they give me a lot of confidence, especially in the scrums and the contact area.
And what makes them ideal for the front row?
What makes them ideal for the front row is actually they're a bit elevated at the bottom. So if you put 18mm studs in, it actually almost takes you to 21mm. And if you put 21mm studs in, it almost takes you to like 23mm. Also, the sole is quite a hard plastic, like sturdiness. So for the fascia of your feet, when it bends, in a scrum, you're in an awkward position of, you're only on like your tippy toes, the front 2 to 4 studs, where like that bendness of it, it keeps it nice and sturdy for your feet. And at the back of the ankle and your heel, it's quite hard. And that's what you need, especially in contact, that awkward carries and tackles and around the clears and breakdown, where you can't always have the perfect posture and position. You need that protection, and I think they have it. They also have these plastic bits underneath the flight path, where it gives you sturdiness and also keeps the mud and the grass in Northern Hemisphere rugby. It keeps it out, especially in test footy. You don't really want to slip.
A wider last is the big claim here. Is a fit something you've struggled with other brands as a prop?
Yeah, see, as a loose head prop and as a prop, we have ankles like dinosaurs. So you need a sturdy Canterbury boot, because I've played with previous brands where the wear and tear is honestly, it's not so good. Where I've had now Canterbury boots for a year, the Stampedes, and it's just so sturdy, even on a 4G pitch, because my local club I play on a 4G pitch. And then also the weather is, obviously it rains 364 days in Scotland a year. The other day it's snowing. We're actually in Scotland today. The one year it's sunny actually as well. But yeah, they're super resilient and sturdy. And also if you put different studs in, previous boots I've had, it breaks literally out of the stud socket, so where it screws in. Where the Canterbury Stampedes haven't done that yet, or torn on the sides. There's a bit of wear and tear, but that's natural over the year. But it hasn't, like some boots have broken the sole off, tear open, or even the studs broke out.
How many pairs of boots do you go through in a season?
Well, that's a great question. I think previously it was like, I would say playing wise 4 to 5 pairs in a full season, because you play about, I'm never injured or at the physios. I don't see the physios or doctor. I just pray and then have a glass of beer, whiskey or red wine to recover. No, I have my protein shake. But I would say with the Canterburys now, I think you can have one pair for a full season. But as professionals, you want to spice it up every now and then. So probably I would say like only twice a season now, since switching to Canterbury. Because with training as well, people forget that sometimes, you know, the training takes a lot. It's 3 days a week training, and that's also sometimes in, you know, wet weather and Northern Hemisphere weather.
You recently earned your 50th Scotland cap. Do you keep milestone boots or do you give them away?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have a few milestone boots. Some I keep like for our family, but I have a few that, you know, I can maybe give away or do something cool with for charities, or even for people to win competitions, for Canterbury to sell some boots through, or even, you know, do something on social media. But it's cool to have those milestone boots. The coolest one I can maybe say is, you know, the limited edition, the red maroon color for the Lions tour. I still have my Lions boots. So I have the Lions boots. I made my debut in for Lions. I still have my Lions boots. I played my first game in Australia with, against the Australia-New Zealand side, that one as well. And then I also have my Canterbury boots that I made my 50th in for Scotland. And I scored a try. So there is a prop.
Long metal studs?
Sorry.
Or short?
And I still have my Canterbury boots getting a penalty against South Africa. I think that's a bigger flex than probably scoring a try against Argentina.
Long metal studs or shorter hybrids? What's the setup for a wet winter night in Edinburgh?
Yeah, no, in Edinburgh, if you go 4G pitch, so if you play Glasgow, Edinburgh, you probably have to go 18 millimeters. I always played with 21 mils, but it's sometimes too elevated on the 4G. But on a, let's say you play Leinster away at the Aviva Stadium, probably go for your 21s because that's grass.
And is there a big difference in scrummaging on artificial pitches like the Hive compared to the grass pitches?
Yeah, I would say the everyone knows it by now, but the pack that usually dominates the shot, they have an advantage. And also you have to, it doesn't grip as well as like normal grass, let's say like in France or South Africa. So you have to really have good posture in your knees and hips, get low.
You just played against South Africa at Loftus. How special was it to run out on the pitch where it all began?
Yeah, it was really special. As my wife helped me put it into words, as a rugby prop, you struggle to find the words sometimes in this brain that goes cray. But it's my fourth time playing the Springboks now. I've played them twice at Murrayfield, once at the World Cup in South of France, in Marseille. And then to play at Loftus where, you know, I sat in office, the school next to Loftus, across the road, a state boys school, Afrikaans. And all day you can hear in classes the boys at the Bulls and the Springboks training there. And you would just like, get me out of here, I can't wait to do it. So I played for the Bulls for 5 years. After school, I went straight there and played for the Bulls. Played Super Rugby, Currie Cup and Vodacom Cup for them, with guys like Wilco and Jesse, to name drop them. We almost beat them. But to play there at Loftus, it was so surreal. Like having all our friends and family there, it's a full circle moment for me, you know, to represent Scotland. Just making my 50th in Argentina the week before in Cordova. It's just amazing. And to know how that fans and people and the opposition think, and you went toe to toe with, you know, one of the best side probably in World Rugby Union at the moment. It was a brilliant experience.
What's your go-to comfort food from South Africa you miss the most?
That's a great question. Comfort food, I love haggis in Scotland. But in South Africa, and what I miss a lot, is probably the biltong, the air-dried meat. You just need a bit of coriander, salt, pepper, bit of vinegar, and that's creatine and protein in the best taste buds ever. Probably that, and then a good old, you know, South African ribeye on the bone or tomahawk is probably the best you'll get. I think it's better than Argentina meat.
You found anywhere in Edinburgh yet?
Yeah, we used to have a biltong company way back. We used to make biltong for like a year.
Pioneer.
Yeah, proper pioneer.
Yeah.
And then we just wanted to make like £500 a month, and then we ended up doing like £13,000 a month, and it got like a business too big. And I said I can't produce and manufacture while I play pro rugby. So we sold that, and then yeah, we started something else now as well. But yeah, biltong, bloody healthy, bloody tasty, and it's good margin as well.
What's been the best moment in a Scotland jersey?
The best moment in a Scotland jersey, probably beating England away. We've beaten England so many times. Love all the boys in there as well. After the Lions tour, Genji and Pollock and them. But it's nice to always, I don't know why. Maybe it's because Dwan plays the whole time. But yeah, it's nice beating them a lot. I would say my 50th was really special in Cordova. Like, it was so far away in the world, but that's what rugby does. It unites people, and then it brings your family and everyone together, and you see places you've never seen before in life. And I think that's the gratefulness we have in rugby. So those two moments, probably the debut as well, but I would say to make your 50th, it's not selfishly, but it's just it encapsulates the whole journey, and emphasize the importance of, you know, you want to make more sacrifices to do it more. If you can do it 50 times more, why not? Money, connections can't buy you that. It's just down to hard work, bit of luck, and sacrifice.
What's your go-to pre-match song?
Pre-match song go-to is probably, there's a few actually. I love worship songs. So mine is Praise. I praise you on the mountain, praise you in the valley. And then the other one is, yeah, sometimes as a prop you have to get a bit hardcore as well. So something like Taylor Swift. I knew you were trouble when you walk in. You know, that kind of things. It really pumps me up. It's the same with Tom Stoltman. He's the world's biggest and strongest Swiftie as well. We actually spoke about all the Swiftie songs Yeah.
What's the most used emoji in the front row group chat?
Most used emoji. I would say probably the in love eyes one, because, you know, we all celebrate having the most beautiful wives, the most successful careers, being the most intellectual and smartest people in the team, the most creative. And then anything is possible. You know, we can speak about the Bible, but we can also make some dark humor jokes. Anything is acceptable in the front row chat.
Who's the toughest opponent you scrummed against?
Toughest opponent I've scrum against, I would say Ferrari. He put Ferrari in diff lock in the Italy game. He did something awkward where he got in between me and Ashy. I know what he did, but it was 1 or 2 too late. But I would say Ferrari's up there, but then Volkulo, you know, 150 kilograms of just pure muscle and beef. And with the back five behind him, yeah, Volku. He's a strong boy, and I think he's mentally and physically strong. And then technically really good as well. So I'd say Volku.
What's your favourite Scottish slang word?
Neeps.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Yeah, so like, yeah, not a bad day. Aye, Neeps. What's your plans for the rest of the day? Aye, Neeps is like neighbor, like a brotherly pal, a friend, you know? Neeps, you're my Neeps. I'll look after you. When you go to Ibiza, I'll look after your bin day for you, you know what I mean? You can what I mean? So Neeps.
What's your favourite cheat meal?
Favorite cheat meal? Yes, probably, I love a steak. Like, I would have steak every day. The cheat meal for me comes with a nice bottle of red wine, nice dram of whiskey, a nice beer. But a favorite cheat meal it's a South African thing called a braaibroodjie. That's a nice cheat meal. It's like a cheese toastie with onions, but you do it on the braai outside on like hard Namibian hard wood. Must be smoky in the beautiful, you know, it can be muggy, Scottish evening, but nice Namibia hardwood. You put the braaibroodjie, you build it, you just go cheese, onion, butter, obviously first, tomato, and then there's a thing called like a chutney. I know you know what chutney is, but it's like a Mrs. Ball's chutney. You put that on top, close it, seal it, and you go tss, tss, and it's like a smoky, oh, you have to try it.
Noted. Who's your ultimate partner in crime in the Scotland squad right now?
Partner in crime. I'd like to put it more positively, but it's your question. I would say Rory Sutherland. We're the same position. He just made his 50th as well. But we have some of the best banter on the planet. I think we're the tightest friends in the Scotland group when we come together. But also, he's now on social media as well, Johnny Gray. He's my favorite to hang out around as well. Johnny's up for anything as well. He has a mind that, he has an old soul, but a AI mind. He's really smart, that guy.
Who's the best player you've played with?
Best player I've played with? Yes, I don't know why my brain takes me to Darcy Graham the whole time. Wee Darcy, wee man. You know, he's like a he's amazing. He reminds me a lot of like Cheslin as well from South Africa, but wee Darcy. And then, yeah, probably Finn. Finn he's the Messi of rugby. Sometimes it gets messy as well, but Finn is really good.
Who thinks they're the best dressed player in camp, even if they aren't?
The best dressed person I think they are probably would have to be Sione. Sione thinks he dressed like cool, you know, play some basketball, whoosh. But it actually looks like he just went to, you know, I don't know, no judgment, I go there, but just get the pick a mix from TK Maxx. That's him.
If you gave them a wardrobe makeover right now, what's getting binned first?
Probably Sione sneakers. He buys like these expensive sneakers like Gucci's and Prada's and stuff. And I just think, you know, in a world where material things doesn't matter that much, with a social influence, just keep it cool, man. Just go for like a humble trainer. You don't need to flex all your Gucci's and Prada shoes here in Glasgow, you know.
Who would you trust from the squad with the final phone call to win £1 million on a quiz show?
That will have to be Blair Kinghorn. Blair Kinghorn is a trustworthy person, and when the going gets tough, he'll be in your corner.
And who's the last person you'd ask?
The Fagersons. Sander and Matt Fagerson.
Name one up-and-coming Scottish youngster the world needs to watch right now.
I would say Freddie Douglas. You can throw him from a plane. He's so resilient. He'll crash land and jackal mid-air. When he lands hit the ground, he'll jackal. I think sometimes, he just drops his wallet or his phone or something and he just starts jackling it as well. He'll do a few more jackals for Scotland going forward.
And finally, is there going to be more poetry at the end of the Nations Champion?
Yes, that's a really great question. I think I've realised, life is short and we have to bring your inner Shakespeare out of you. So there'll definitely be more poems coming. Which the Fiji test. And then after that, we'll have a bit of downtime, in the Mediterranean and get some inspiration from the nature. And then I'll probably launch a bit of poetry coming out.